guys, it's Will with Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. Special episode here today. I rewatched Election recently, the Johnny To film, and I'm going to talk very specifically about what I think is the most astounding aspect of this film, which is the narrative economy of it. So what do I mean by that? This movie accomplishes so much in so little time that it's kind of mind-blowing. So to give you some indication of my background and speaking about this before I get into it, I went to grad school for screenwriting, and while I was in grad school, I interned at Lionsgate, a couple different companies within Lionsgate, and I read scripts. So for like 2 years, all I did was read scripts for these companies, and then I was hired by one of them to continue reading scripts, and then I got other jobs from that, and then I started getting hired by some screenwriters to like help them with their scripts, basically read them and help them finish them up and stuff like that. So this is all freelance work that I do, but it's not like my full-time job. But for the past I started it in 2013, so it's 2019 now. So for the past 6 years, I've been reading scripts, either for production companies, studios, or for screenwriters working with them. And so I've read thousands and thousands of scripts. And so one of the things that I notice first and foremost when I watch films is the state of the script. And the script for this movie is absolutely astounding. So I have two copies of it here. Actually, I have the original DVD, which was released by, I think this was Tartan Asia Extreme. Yes, the movie came out in 2005. This says 2007. I guess that's when it came out in the U.S. And it says Best Film of the Year, Quentin Tarantino, right there. So if that means anything to you. And there you go. Simon Yam is in this movie. Louis Koo. A bunch of like the actors who are regularly in. Nick Chung is in it. Like Johnny To movies. And then this is the Hong Kong Blu-ray, and I got this at Foreign Exchange Blu-ray, which is in Culver City. If you live in LA or anywhere else in the LA area and you have never been to Foreign Exchange Blu-ray, you have to go there. It is amazing. They have Blu-rays from all over the world. And I think this was $15. It may have been 16. But like you hear the idea of like, oh, it's an import Blu-ray store. I'm going to go there and there's going to be like some $70, Blu-ray from Poland or whatever. It's like they're from all over the world. It's all kinds of different movies, and the pricing is really, really reasonable. So you have to check it out. And we'll put a link to their website in the description. And so I'm going to talk about kind of like the opening scene and then how the movie kind of unfolds. The movie's like 90 minutes long. So that's one of the things that's so mind-blowing is how much it accomplishes in that time. There is not a single scene or moment in this movie that does not give you information about the plot and the characters. And the visual style of the movie it's very unadorned. It's like the camera is just kind of there following these people. It's not an aesthetic or like an overly, what's the word I'm looking for, formalized film. Right, like it's one of the. It reminds me almost of like the Pusher films, the Nicholas Winding Refn things, where like the camera's just there and it follows them, and as they accomplish their tasks. It's not like as raggedy an indie film as that. Like it's a very professionally made film. It's not like a lot of shaking camera and stuff like that. Because Johnny To has a very clean, like oftentimes very like slow, deliberate kind of visual style. The locations that are used in this film also are not the typical kind of Hong Kong locations. They're just kind of like run-of-the-mill places, and I think that ties into the way that the script is written. So the movie is about an election within the triads. So they have to elect a new leader. There's two guys running, and the elders in the like triad society are in the process of deciding who they're going to elect in the very first scene. So there's no BS at all before the movie starts. It starts in media res as the kind of the event that kicks off the movie is happening. And you have one camp for the Simon Yam character, his name is Lok, and then you have one camp for, I think, Big D is the other guy's name. And is his name really Big D? Get out of here. It's something D. That would be amazing if his name was Big D. I can't believe I didn't realize that when I was watching this movie. Anyway, and they're very different people. The Simon Yam character is very quiet. The other one is very loud and flashy and spends a lot of money, right? In that scene, the cops come in. And they're like, you're suspected of triad activities. We're going to arrest you. And they say, okay, we want to have hoods put on because we don't want to be seen out in public, right? So that tells you a lot of things. It tells you that the majority of these people are not flashy and showy, right? So we know that they're probably more likely to vote for the Simon Yam character. And we know that, it sets up the device of the hoods, and it sets up in the very first scene that it is a routine occurrence for the police to show up at these triad gatherings. And that is very important because it happens again and again throughout the movie that the police show up. And if they didn't show up in that first scene and they just started randomly showing up later, you as a viewer would be like, why are the police here? Like, how did they know this was happening? Why are they just randomly showing up? But we have it established right away that they just randomly show up a lot because they know that triad activities are going on and they're trying to stop any kind of violence that might arise from fallout from this election. So this movie is like an action movie. It is a thriller, and it is like almost like a political movie because you have all of these internal politics of the Triad Society. And what's really crazy is that the main heads of the Triad organization are actually jailed by the police to prevent them from inciting violence while the election is happening, but they allow them to talk to their lawyers and impart to one another in the prison. So there are all these like really short scenes of all these people it's not a prison, it's like the jail at the police station. They're moving around the police station. They're talking to the police. They're talking to one another. They're talking to the lawyers, and all this information is flowing. And it's this like it's almost like this like Shakespearean, like this massive Shakespearean political drama. But the whole thing is 90 minutes long, and it's just astounding. And all of the things that the characters do make sense and are completely organic, and the story completely derives from the actions of the characters. And to pare the script down to that short of a running time and have it be this unordained, and to be able to articulate that much information about the characters through the dialogue and their actions is really just incredible. Honestly speaking, as someone who's trained in screenwriting myself and who has read thousands and thousands of scripts, like this script is like a minor miracle. It's just fantastic. And the second film, Election 2, is very, very good too. But I mean, I highly recommend it. I could go on and on and on. There's so many examples in this film that I could cite about how amazing the writing is. But I'll probably stop there because I think you get the point that I'm trying to make. The movie is called Election. I have 2 copies of it right here. And I guess I should mention the name of the writers since I'm talking about the screenplay, right? So it's directed by Johnny To. I wrote their names down here. Y-A-U, Yao, I guess would be that name. Na Hoi and Yip Ting Shing are the 2 screenwriters who are frequent collaborators of Johnny To, the director, and he's also a big time producer. So my name is Will. You've been watching Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society, and we will see you next time.